Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host LovelyCheesePizza here. Welcome to another installment of Sports Sunday where we talk about sports, life, and everything in between. And we can now finally bow out and say that the end of football has finally come upon us. And it's actually kind of sad. It kind of like, the Super Bowl kind of snuck up on me a little bit. It was something that, obviously I knew it was coming, but when it was finally here this morning when I woke up, I was like, oh damn. The game's actually here today. Well, all right. I had to go to work today, so the first half of the game I ended up having to stream it online, which surprisingly the stream that I got was actually pretty good. I think that it only really tripped up and froze on me like twice, and that's a miracle because the place that I normally stream my stuff from, and normally if I'm watching pretty much anything, it is a guarantee that it is gonna crap out at least like 5 or 6 times, and I mean like fully die, where I've got to actually like reload the page and the whole thing. So when that happened, I was delightfully surprised. But so also, by the way, shouts to the Broncos, shouts to the Broncos. I didn't really give them a chance to win. Here's the thing. The way that I had predicted this, I predicted that Carolina was going to win 26-20. And like in my heart, like I thought Carolina was going to win. Their offense realistically was so much better. It was just so much better than Denver's. Obviously, Denver's big anchor is their defense, and Carolina had a really good quality defense, and their offense, they scored the most points per game in the NFL this year. So I figured, they had the best, they had all the tools necessary. But it's the Super Bowl, man. You never know what's going to happen anymore. You just don't. And the other part of my prediction was, as much as I thought that Carolina, pretty much had it in the bag, I was reading stuff on statistics. And the statistics said, statistics said that for any NFL team that scores 40 points in a playoff game, the odds are that they generally they lose their next game. And so that kind of, and like the stats pretty much always end up working out. The numbers don't lie. Numbers never lie except for when they do, which is very infrequent. But and so I'm sitting here thinking, as much as I think that Carolina is going to pull this thing off, it would not surprise me in any capacity if Denver ends up winning this thing, just because, why wouldn't the Sheriff, get his, have his last game that he ever plays, end up being the one that wins him a championship, and then he can saunter off into the sunset, holding the reins to his horse that he can't even feel because he can't feel his fingertips. And he ended up doing it, man. He is, I think also, I read another stat that he is the only Super Bowl winning quarterback, or he is the only quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl without throwing an offensive touchdown. It was such a weird game. Obviously, the defenses were kind of the shining moments there, because Denver, outside of the first drive, couldn't move the ball to save their freaking lives. The only reason why they scored either of the 2 touchdowns they scored was because of Carolina pretty much spotting them the points. They had the one that was actually a touchdown, and they had the one that was on like the 5-yard line or whatever it was. So, the offense really had to do minimal work, and that's precisely what they wanted, though. You want to make Peyton Manning do the least amount of stuff as humanly possible, and they did. I was wholeheartly surprised when, we're just watching that game, seeing Cam Newton really not be able to do anything. He made some plays that kind of gave me the, that's why he's the MVP. It's no surprise. He made a couple of great throws, but man, he just got eaten alive back there by Von Miller. He was back there just trampling the living hell out of him pretty much the whole game. So no wonder why he got the imp, the MVP of the whole thing. It was pretty crazy, but I have to say, in terms of just, Super Bowls in general, I'd have to say this was a pretty lackluster Super Bowl. I was actually rather disappointed by it. Just like the game itself wasn't terribly interesting to watch. I mean, the offenses weren't moving very well. There are some people that love to watch defensive struggle games, and I am not one of them. I mean, really, I mean, I'm a fan of Pac-12 football, which is offensive, just juggernauts and supremacy all over the place. So that game was quite the nosebleed to watch. It was so frustrating that it forced the capillaries in my body to stop clotting blood properly, and just, you know, made it so that I started spewing blood out of my nose. I'm just kidding. It didn't give me a nosebleed, but it was pretty boring. I was struggling with that. And the other part too, I mean, we all know that Super Bowls for a lot of us are all about the commercials. The commercials sucked this year. They were not good. I mean, this may have been one of the worst years that I can remember, at least. This may have been one of the worst years for Super Bowl commercials, I think. They were just awful. There were a couple that were pretty good. The avocados from Mexico commercial was pretty good, with the aliens taking like people through like a tour of like earthen pop culture and stuff. They had the thing with like the dress, was it blue or was it gold thing? They had like a Rubik's Cube, like, Earthlings once thought that this thing was unsolvable, and like everybody started laughing. And they showed like a little thing of like the inside of an airplane, and they're like, people once thought that this was a torture device, and they had a guy just sitting there, and there's like crying children in front of him, and he had like headphones on, and they had some other things in there too. That one was pretty good. Oh shit, that's a double play. I didn't think he was gonna get there. I thought he was gonna be slow enough. Well, okay. Wait, we scored? When did we score? I don't remember scoring. When did that happen? I mean, obviously we scored in the first inning. I totally don't remember that at all. Okay, I'll work with it. So there was that one. There were, I think the overall winner of the Super Bowl, outside of, you know, the Broncos for sure, the overall winner of the Super Bowl, I think, had to be T-Mobile, man. T-Mobile had a couple of commercials that were zingers. They had one that was with Drake. And that one was pretty funny, where they started, you know, talking all the semantics of cell phone services and how ultimately shitty they are, when they just, you know, give you all the overages and everything, and and that one actually got a couple pretty good laughs in there. And then the other one was, it was like the one with like the marbles rolling down the track, which apparently played like 4 different times. Like each carrier all had the same freaking thing, which was getting kind of stupid after a while. But they had it, and they had Steve Harvey doing the dialogue over it, and he totally took a shot at himself over the Miss America thing, and I thought it was pretty funny. He's like, Verizon's the one that got it wrong, not me this time. It was great. It's you know that it's awesome when you can make a giant faux pas on TV and then come back and talk about it in a Super Bowl commercial and then make total bank out of it later. That is good times. But yeah, man, totally kind of a rough thing. I actually feel really bad for Cam Newton. Like, I've already gone on the tape and say that I'm not a fan of him at all. I think that he's kind of a pompous douchebag. But I do feel bad for him, and we're actually losing now, by the way. I feel bad for him in the vein that, I mean, after this game, especially because he didn't have a very good game. It'd be one thing if he had like a masterful performance, but then, you know, just lost the game anyways. But I mean, he had a pretty bad game. I mean, I think he had like 17 incompletions, or it was actually probably more than that now that I think about it. He didn't particularly play very well. I think he actually got hurt on the play right before halftime, which is why he totally stopped running, you know, doing like quarterback draws. So I think that's part of the reason why he was just, you could see that he was kind of wincing a lot when he was running around. So I think that played a part in it. But I feel bad for him in terms of how many, you know, like crazy death threats and just like unnecessary hate comments he's gonna end up getting after the game. I know that, you know, superstar players don't necessarily manage their social media accounts, but I mean, you know that they're gonna be there. There's no way that you don't know they're gonna be there. And I know that, you know, he's got bajillions of dollars, and he probably doesn't really care what anybody thinks, but just like the notion that those things are out there and that people are actually doing it is ridiculous, man. Sports fans, I think, may be some of the worst people. Not to offend any of you guys, but I think that sports fans are usually the most likely type of fan to go too far. they go pretty hard, man. It's pretty bad. So it's something. Oh, you know what? Okay, I think outside of the T-Mobile commercials, the big winner for me. The big winner for me was definitely, I don't remember the name of it, but it was a commercial for some type of medication, and it was for irritable bowel syndrome, and I never thought that I'd actually see the day where the mascot for a product that someone's trying to sell is an anthropomorphic intestine that's like wandering around a sports arena. It was so funny. It's just like they're talking about, oh, IBS, oh, you get stricken with random diarrhea sometimes, and like this thing's just sitting, at the sporting event looking at the game through binoculars or whatever, and then all of a sudden, they talk about the diarrhea, and he gets like the weird look on his face, and so he goes down, they show him running on the concourse, just like this little tiny, little twisted pink organ thing, and it's just like sauntering around with like this weird look on its face, and oh, it was funny. I loved it. That commercial, I was just like, what the hell is going on right now? Speaking of other things in terms of what the hell is going on right now, we might lose to these guys. This is not okay. Oh, we're gonna get thrown out. Oh, okay, never mind. Like, we need to kind of mount a charge right now. We're only gonna be able to go to bat 2 more times in this game. And that's kind of the hit we needed right there. Oh, I thought we had a chance there, man. I did. I truthfully thought we had a chance there. However, we've got 2 outs. Oh, this isn't going to work. Oh, this is bad. I don't know which one of the guys is the best one to go with. I'm going to go with Balzac because I think he's the guy that's the best equipped for this. Oh, please get a hit. Please. Oh, he's going to get it. Thank you, Officer Balzac. You saved the day. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, boy, I was actually legit worried about that for a minute. Whew. Alright, bringing in Kono. Apollo Anton Ono, here he comes. This would be so awesome if Kevin could get a base hit right now. Give us the lead going into the area where we bring in the relief. It's going to be good times if he can do it. He's not going to do it. Oh, damn it. I thought he was close. I thought it was going to be closer than that. Alright, we're going to bring in, we'll bring in Peter. We've kind of, I feel like we've gone with Peter more often than Cedric, but we're going to go with it. So, now that we got my total favorite commercial out of the way, let's get the worst one. I don't even understand this. I think this might have been, actually for me, and maybe for a lot of people, this might have been this was a top 3 both weirdest and probably worst commercial I've ever seen. Was that Mountain Dew commercial, the whole puppy monkey baby thing. What the hell is that? And you're promoting a Mountain Dew, it was like the Mountain Dew Kickstart, like energy drink things. I'm sitting here like, what the hell is this weird hybrid animal right now? This thing is scary. It is legit scary, man. And it would only say puppy monkey baby just over and over and over again with that weird ass amalgam body of that. Oh, it was so gross. But I'm sitting there looking at that like, what in the living, like the living adaptation of hell is this supposed to be? This is terrible. And oh man, that was just the most unsettling thing, I think. And they paid good money for that commercial to exist, you know? I mean, Super Bowl ads cost $5 million to create. So, I don't know, man. I have no idea what that was all about. I think the one that they had last year with the people sitting in the basement and they're drinking Mountain Dew and then all the furniture comes alive and they start, you know, doing the crazy breakdancing stuff. I thought that one was awesome. That was great. Especially with like the deer head that comes alive out of the wall and it's doing like the weird freaking like neck spinning thing. I thought that one was great. But yeah, dude, overall, really, really shitty year of commercials, man. It was just a really kind of lackluster Super Bowl in general, and we have totally taken this game over. The other thing, this is another thing that I thought was funny. Two things, actually. Apparently, during the post-game, I didn't see it, because once the game was over, I pretty much called it a day. But, oh, he's gonna get, oh, never mind. I think it was Aqib Talib for the Broncos. He was going to go up to the podium where all the analysts were at, and he was going to go talk to him. And apparently, he's running up to the platform to go talk to him. And I guess he took a step on the platform. And totally just ate it. He did like the perfect, like, America's Funniest Home Videos. Like, he just steps on the thing and slips and just totally crashed, dude. He just bit the dust. It was great. I loved it. So that was funny. And then, like, the really awkward the ceremony where they gave out the MVP and the Super Bowl trophy and everything. And they talked to John Elway. And this was so weird. So, like, they're talking to him and all this stuff, and he's like, this one's really exciting, and I know he wouldn't have let me saying this, but he's just like, this one's for Pat! He like yells it way too loud, and I guess Pat was the owner, and I'm guessing he died this year, which is why they had his really awkward widowed wife doing a speech, which was particularly uncomfortable. But yeah, so he does this thing's for Pat, and that was that. But it just like it never really occurred to me too much. I mean, I've always, my mom definitely says it a bunch, but it never occurred to me exactly how much of a horse John Elway looks like. He has got the ultimate horse face, and it's funny. She's like, oh no, not John Elway. I gotta hear the horse face talk again. And I was like, he really does. And so I'm sitting there thinking in my head, he's like, oh, this one's gonna be sweet. We're taking this one back home to Denver. And I'm sitting here thinking in my head, like, this alternate scenario. He's like, and when I get home, I'm gonna strap on my feed bag. My master decided I get to have some oats tonight. Oh, man. Yeah, so, my throat hurts, man. I got a really bad feeling that I'm starting to come down with something. I really hope not. I can't afford to not be at work. My parents have been sick for like a week now, and I've been, living in this just absolute germ den for the last week and a half, and so I've been like trying to quarantine myself away from everybody to avoid it. And for the most part, I've been in pretty good shape, but oh no. Is Paul gonna hit another home run? Oh, you bastard, you! That's 2 home runs for him in this game. I gotta give him credit, man. I gotta give him credit. He's keeping his team in the game. And that's gonna make Marley's perfect season go down the old shitteroo there. That's okay. The game is done. I mean, we're still gonna get the W here. It wasn't the cleanest thing in the world, but they're not all going to be. Just wait until you see what happens when we get to like the American Dream Team. That's gonna be just an offensive nightmare everywhere. Okay, so we got the W there, and now we can move on with our lives. So let's see what we can do. Marley, he's in pretty good shape, I would say. Cedric's in pretty good shape. Marv looking pretty good. Harry looking pretty good. Let's start looking at... Oh, by the way, Balzac is the MVP in my opinion. He really came through with a big moment when we needed it the most. I will definitely go right ahead and say. Alright, let's give Snakes some mad power. I've been thinking about this for a little bit. Let's see. Batting is the power, hitting is contact, that's right. So we need to have one guy in the back of the lineup that's got, a nice power punch. We got Mr. Hector here. He's got a little bit. Wait a minute, is it hitting that's the power and the batting is the contact? I forget. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I get those two mixed up a lot. I think actually hitting is the power and the batting's contact. I don't remember right now. So yeah, Hector would be the guy ultimately if hitting is the power stat there, which I think it is now. And then if we could have Snakes back here as the other guy, that'd be even better. So let's go with Kevin. Yeah, he's a guy that could use a little bit. We'll give him some running and prestige, and that'll be good for that, I believe. So, my friends, oh, it sucks. We're gonna be done with football for the next like 7 months, and that is a massive bummer. It's like 7 months. God. Oh, that really blows. That really blows the hot trash. But it's all right. It was a fun year, and when we come back around for that, it's going to be good times. But at least we've got baseball, because I know baseball's starting up in about 57 or 58 days, and we've got the NBA still, so this is good time, and college basketball. So good times are still upon us. So when we come back on the next installment of Sports Sunday, where we talk about sports, life, and everything in between, we are going to continue playing through either this or what other game I decide to start up to go along with this one. And, oh, by the way, before I quit, people spend way too much money on tickets. I read an article about a guy that had spent like his entire life saving on tickets and didn't tell his wife about it. He totally didn't tell her about it. And then he filmed her reaction and put it up on the internet like that was going to go over really well or anything. Like, how do you think she's going to react? Oh, it's okay. It's okay that you just emptied our entire collective bank account for one sporting match where all the concessions are way too expensive, where you got to spend $20 on a sandwich and $7 for a bottle of water, and $13 for a beer like it's a Vegas nightclub or something. It's totally okay. But, oh yeah, dude, that's terrible. I would never do that. That's the one thing that would keep me from the Super Bowl, is that their tickets are so expensive. It's ridiculous. Like, I think he spent like 20 grand, which is just like, but hey, what do you do? So with that said, my friends, yeah, my throat's starting to hurt. I need to go get something to drink because this is getting kind of bad. So when we come back, we're gonna have some more fun. But until then, my friends, this is your host, Lovely Cheese Pizza, saying thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.